Hello, and thank you so much for dropping by this video. My name's Arthur, and I have recovered from multiple addictions through the power and grace of what I call God. You can call it higher power, or you can call it whatever you like. But it exists, and it's very real and very available to help. And I would know because it literally saved my life and removed the addictive behavior that I could not get rid of on my own. So this is in response to a beautiful letter I received from someone on Quora. I'll read a little bit. For the past 15 years of my life, I've been addicted to a certain type of porn and also a sexual behavior above and beyond the porn. Last year, I ended up moving to be part of a program that helps guys who struggle with sexual brokenness of all kinds. After it was over, though, I found myself going back to the same things. It feels like no matter what I do, I cannot change. Do you have any hope for me? Yes, I do. Yes, 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 yes. Here's why. If you have any kind of problem and you go out into the world seeking a solution, the solution that usually is offered is about you relying on you. And this is a very important thing and a very good thing, except in the case of a real or a chronic addiction. Here's why. If you've reached the point of chronic addiction, and it sounds like you have to the person who wrote this, and I know I had, no matter what you do, if you're relying on your own willpower, you will fail. That's what differentiates between a chronic addict and someone who has a problem. Here's why. Someone who has a chronic addiction will make a vow, will put up post-it notes, put post-it notes on the computer, in the case of a porn addict, such as myself and the person who wrote. And some way, somehow, they'll forget. The thought will come, oh, I'll just do a little bit. Or I've had a rough day, I need to relax. And addictive behaviors help you relax in the short term. One of the, I don't want to say benefits, but some crazy little thought will come like, oh, I'll do it today and then I'll get serious tomorrow. And then what happens is the person engages in the addictive behavior, and they don't just do it for a minute, they do it for an hour or a day or a week. Someone who's a real addict cannot moderate. That's the other difference. Is once someone with a real addiction starts, they don't stop. It just goes on and on and on. I could go on porn binges for weeks. I think my longest one, maybe even a month. Just like, for me, is a combination of food, internet surfing with porn mixed in. And I could do that for literally months. I would just lay in bed, overeat, undereat, eat junk food, surf the internet every now and then, sometimes a couple times a day, sometimes 4 or 5 times a day. Spend some time with pornography, masturbate to pornography, and then back to internet surfing, and do that nonstop from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep. I could do, I think the longest I ever did was a month and a half, day after day after day after day. Someone with a real addiction cannot moderate, and they cannot use their willpower to stop. So I want to say to the person who wrote, There's no hope for you if you keep trying to solve the problem on your own. But there is all sorts of hope for you if you turn to something that's based on God reliance. So the two things I would suggest are the original 12-step program, very different than the modern 12-step program. You can find out about it in the book Alcoholics Anonymous. Even though it's written for alcoholics, the first 164 pages completely apply to a chronic addict of any kind. A book called How to Listen to God, which is based on the original something called the Oxford Group, which was a Christian group through which the 12 steps were born out of the Oxford Group. And I myself am available to help you or anyone with a chronic addiction. And I don't charge money for this. I'll post my email below this video. Feel free to reach out. And so the thing is most programs see chronic addiction is a very specific thing. So you went to this program, and I'm sure it had all sorts of good spiritual wisdom in it. But if it's not based completely in the idea of humility, surrender, and reliance on God, and teach you how to live that every day, and teach you that without following this rigorous way of life, you're going to fall back. And that's the difference between the original 12-step program and most other spiritual support or spiritual things out there, is it doesn't have that foundation of, look, it's almost, the metaphor, one metaphor I sometimes use is like, I'm in the middle of the ocean is addiction, and I'm in this life raft, but I have to pump the raft up every day, otherwise I'll sink. Now that sounds a little scary. It isn't scary. It's just, for a chronic addict, it's a fact of life that we need to live a spiritual life, a specific kind of spiritual life, a spiritual life of humility, of faith and surrender, and then learning how to, really learning a very specific way of life. And that's what the Oxford Group was all about, and that's what the original 12-step program is all about. And I'm very available to help anyone learn that way of life. So yeah, a program or a book is not gonna fix it. What needs to happen is a complete reorientation of self and life to God. It sounds serious and intense, and it is serious, but it's also very joyful. It's very joyful, because the things that bring real happiness in life are God and service. And that's what the original 12 steps and the Oxford Group are all about. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And if there's any way I can help, please drop me a line at the email below. Take care.